Welcome, everyone. The Board of Education will now call to order the public hearing on the proposed 2024-2025 millage rate and budget. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. In place of Secretary Torres, Member Sutherland will serve as secretary tonight. So Secretary Sutherland, could you please take roll?
Thank you, Dr. Ristich. Pardon me. Thank you, Dr. Ristich. Member Torres and Member Wagner are not present. All other members are present tonight.
Thank you. Colleagues, moving on now. During the public hearing, the board welcomes comments from the public relative to the proposed 2024-2025 millage rate and budget, which the board will act on later this evening during our regular meeting. I do not have any green cards related to the budget and millage rate. Is there anyone who'd like to address the board on the millage and budget this evening? Very good. Seeing no further public comments on the 24-25 millage rate and budget, the public hearing is now closed and we will move on to the regular meeting. Colleagues, moving on to the approval of the agenda of the regular meeting. Unless there are objections, tonight's agenda will be approved as printed. Okay. All right. So we're now going to move on to a really cool recognition of achievement here. Our Oakland County Support Person of the Year. This evening, we are excited to recognize Haviland Elementary ELD paraprofessional Elisa Crabtree, who was named 2024 Oakland County Support Person of the Year for our quadrant. Joining us to present the award is Andrea Berry, the Executive Director of the Oakland Schools Education Foundation. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here tonight to present the Oakland County Support Staff Person of the Year Award to Elisa Crabtree. Nominees for this award are exemplary employees who serve in support positions like transportation, maintenance, clerical, food service, or classroom support. And they're not only active in their schools, but in their communities as well. And they're recognized for going above and beyond and creating a supportive learning environment in their schools and in the districts. The comments in Elisa's nomination clearly demonstrate this, and I'd like to share a couple of the comments in her nomination that helped us select her as a winner of the award. So the first one is, Elisa volunteers every opportunity she gets to help our ELD students transition to a new school. This year, the number of ELD students attending Haviland almost doubled. She's risen to the challenge of making their transition smooth and without issues. She's been working at our Before School Learning Club, where we targeted a specific subgroup of our ELD students. We've been inviting our parents to come to the Before School Club so they'll feel more comfortable participating in school-wide events. We've had tremendous success, and I absolutely attribute it to Elisa's commitment and involvement in the process. And another comment was, another remarkable quality Elisa demonstrates is a deep commitment to advancing both personally and professionally. She's a natural educator, and her abilities swiftly earned her a position as one of Waterford's first bilingual parent resource assistants. She has a wealth of practical experience and a deep understanding of the educational system in not one, but two cultures. This year, Elisa invested significant personal time into obtaining her Michigan teaching certificate, an achievement she conquered this past February. Armed with this certification, Elisa is poised to expand her impact in serving our students even further. So on behalf of the Oakland Schools Education Foundation, congratulations. I have a plaque for you and a $500 check.
It doesn't, it's not as cool as $500, but we have here, on behalf of this Board of Education, a certificate of recognition. And yes, Ms. Crabtree, thank you so much for your honest dedication to our students and your commitment, getting that teaching certificate. That's amazing stuff, amazing stuff. And we have here, of course, our Waterford School District grab bag of goodies. So
Thank you
yes,
so much.
yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Gracias.
Excellent. And I believe Ms. Crabtree finished her teaching certificate due to one of our Grow Your Own grants. Am I right? Excellent, excellent, excellent. We'd love to hear that. Congratulations again, Mrs. Crabtree. So, colleagues, we're now going to move on to public comments on action items. And so we'll take public comments on action items. So those are items that we'll be voting on this evening. I have one green card up here for a non-action item. Is there anyone who'd like to speak to the board tonight on things we will be voting on this evening? And that falls under our new business categories. Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Moving on now, colleagues, to our consent agenda. Unless there are objections, tonight's consent agenda is approved as presented. Excellent. All right.
Is that the part where people are retiring and,
That's one of the items, yeah.
okay. I speak on one of the things?
I think we should hold it to board reports. Hold it to board reports.
Okay. Now I have to remember. Remind me. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, colleagues. Let's move on now to our information items tonight, and let's hand it over to, I believe Sarah Davis will be going over our graduation report this evening, or the superintendent? I'm sorry? Okay, got it. Turn it over to me. 2024 Waterford School District commencements took place on Sunday, June 2nd, 2024 at Oakland University. It was a wonderful day. This board was so happy to be there and see all those smiling faces of our grads and of our families. And we have here a wonderful video to share what a great time it was for our Mott, Kettering, and Durant graduates. Colleagues, any comments or questions? Member Sutherland, please.
We have a tagline in our district that the future is bright, and I think that video pretty much says it all. Those same words are over and over in the faces of these fine graduates, and we also wanted to note that the total scholarship amount awarded to our graduating seniors was over $3 million, $3.27 million, which is really a testament to these amazing kids, their families, and to the school district, whose teachers and staff have cultivated a desire to learn, a precision focus on learning, and we are incredibly proud of the work that they have done and that our staff has done to get them to this point. So I just want to commend these wonderful graduates and wish them absolute success and happiness in the next chapters of their journey. Thank you.
All right, it's truly a magical day. I think one of the biggest privileges of serving on this Board of Education is being able to attend graduation. So, thank you, colleagues. Let's now move on to an athletics update and welcome up our athletic director, Ms. Allison Sartorius. And colleagues, you have a presentation in front of you if you'd like to follow along.
All right, good evening. I'll try to do this without coughing in the mic here. All right, as we know, every year I enjoy sitting up in front of you guys. Thanks for having me this evening and giving you a report on all the wonderful things that our student athletes have achieved, accomplished, and their participation over this past school year. The hardest part of the presentation is finding or picking out the pictures and trying to make sure everybody's represented, and there's so many wonderful pictures that our photographer that we use has supplied for us. So I'm overwhelmed you with a bunch of pictures, so I apologize. First, as you can see, we have the two high schools, we have 46 programs, 70 teams, over 100 coaches, and over 1,000 total participants. We remain steady at over a third of our high school population participating in athletics. So this has been a number that's remained steady over the past 10 years that I've been doing this, so we've always had over a third of our total population that are unique athletes. That doesn't mean if I play 3 sports, I'm only counting myself as one. So that is over a third of those kids that are participating.
Can I jump in just?
Yeah.
Say 10 years you've been doing this?
Yeah, I know. Crazy.
Okay.
I just finished my 10th year, Rob.
And I just had to, okay, I'm sorry, but yeah.
I know.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. As you can see, this is just our trends for our overall participation with our grades, our grade levels. We are amping up. You'll see in a slide in the future here in this presentation, we are amping up our middle school offerings. So hopefully we can really hone in on that 9th grade participation once we kind of get our claws in somebody and they really enjoy playing a sport, whether it's cheerleading, whether it's swimming, whether it's basketball. Once we have them and they're experiencing a camp or they're experiencing a sport at the youth or the middle school level, we know that they'll continue playing. The retention part is pretty consistent. It's just we have to make sure that we get them in there. And so you can see that, we're continuing to try to grow our 9th grade numbers as much as possible. Tons of away and home games. Tons of home games means tons of officials. Just want to throw a little disclaimer out there that it's not a game unless you have officials. It's only a scrimmage if you don't have officials. So we're really appreciative of all the people that have, taken the time to apply to be officials, because we could not have these games without them. And as you can see, we have approximately 1,100 officials alone for our high school events. That doesn't include our middle school events. So that's an astronomical amount of people that we're welcoming into our community to help us support our student athletes. Home games, couldn't do it without our amazing athletic staffs and our supervisors and our coaches and our facilities and our maintenance. It's truly an undertaking by everybody in the district. And it's not Friday Night Lights without the fans, without the band, without the cheer, without the dance, without drumline at some of the basketball games. And so we really are appreciative of all the support that we get by our other school groups to make it feel like a community event. Through our national anthem singer, as you know, she sang here a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago at a board meeting, and she sang at most of our Waterford Kettering home games, as well as the MHSAA wrestling state finals when we had that wrestler that was the state champion. So it was a really neat opportunity that we were able to get Marissa out there. Our ticket sales, we experienced, you can see that Mott's ticket sales are a little bit down this year, but we did experience an unforeseen event in early fall, which was the very end of August, week 1 of football, when our field, as we know, had to be replaced. So I do think that contributed to part of the Mott sales being a little down. Ketterings were up and remaining consistent because we did have to send Mott on the road a little bit unexpectedly. But also, some of the fans that maybe walk over to Mott to watch a football or a soccer game wouldn't have walked necessarily over to Kettering, just a little bit of a further distance. So that could have contributed to the lower ticket sales. Also, Mott, every year it goes back and forth a little bit with if you have more home or more away games. Mott did have way fewer home games this year than they have had in the past. Our Mason and Pierce offerings, like I mentioned before, we've added just recently United Girls and Boys Swim. We had over 60 participants in our co-ed swim program in the winter. We do compete in our LVC, which is our league for swimming, so we got the opportunity this year. Our high school coach took that on, and we were pretty successful in getting participation for our boys and girls swim. We have started a United softball partnership with a local community group, and we are getting some of our middle school girls involved in softball as well in the spring. That is a Pierce Mason combo team. We offer football, volleyball, boys and girls cross country, boys and girls basketball, United cheer that's taken off the last couple years, both sideline and competitive. Sideline, they're separate for the most part, Mason and Pierce, and then competitive, we do have United competitive cheer and United dance, as well as Mason and Pierce wrestling. You can see, again, we have 22 programs in our middle school, over 30 teams, over 40 coaches, around 40 coaches, and over 500 participants. Mason and Pierce home games. Note on the home games, a lot of these, even though it says 35 and 34, that would be when you have a 7th and 8th grade basketball game, that's only listed once, because on the schedule it's only listed as 7th and 8th grade. So really you could almost double that number when you're talking about a 7th and an 8th grade girls basketball, 7th and 8th grade boys basketball for home games. So again, a lot of officials, a lot of bus trips. We're fortunate enough to be asked to host the MHSAA cross-country regionals, which we were just asked again to host it this coming fall. We hosted the LVC 7th grade volleyball tournament and always hosting a Pierce wrestling tournament. Special congratulations to some of our Pierce track and field all-county athletes. I don't know if you're aware, but the county events are some of the hardest events for track and field in the state, both for high school and middle school. We have a very populated group of very good runners that usually place pretty high in state meets, especially in high school in this area. So for several of our Pierce athletes to place in the counties was quite a accomplishment. So Will Patterson, the 400, Nora Inman shot put, Sophia Bradford, the 70 and 100, and the girls 4x1 team of Sophia Bradford, Emma Crum, Mia Carley, and Lila Jenks. And again, Coach Stevenson led his team in his own team tourney to a wrestling championship. We host a ton of MHSAA tournaments and events. We host a lot of our league events, which again is the LVC. Sometimes our teams of volleyball, varsity volleyball team will host a tournament, but we are often asked to host MHSAA regional, district, and even state events. Our location is perfect. We pull teams from Genesee County, Macomb County, the Detroit area, really all over the state, Lansing area sometimes because of our location here in Oakland County. As we know, when we're pulling teams into our community, not only are we showcasing our wonderful facilities, but also it gets people that maybe have never been to Waterford out to our community. So Mott Cross Country, Mott Classic, We hosted MHSA District Volleyball at Mott, MHSA D1 Boys Soccer. We were supposed to host at Mott, but then we had to swap that out, but we are hosting it this year. Mott football, MHSA D2, we did host a playoff game at Kettering. LVC girls golf preseason invite at Pontiac Country Club. MHSA boys tennis regionals are hosted at Pierce and Kettering courts. In the winter, MHSA wrestling districts, MHSA girls basketball districts, MHSA boys basketball districts, and we often are hosting the MHSA D1 and D2 bowling regionals. And in the spring, again, the LVC preseason event at Pontiac Country Club. A lot of soccer, MHSA D1 soccer districts at Mott and D2 soccer regionals at Kettering. And then we hosted also the D4 and D2 soccer semifinals, both at Kettering on separate nights. And we hosted D1 softball districts at Kettering, D1 baseball districts at Kettering on the same day, and D1 softball regionals at Waterford Mott. One of our favorite slides is to highlight our student athletes' GPAs. The student comes first, and we do have a rigorous set of standards that we expect our athletes to hold to. Our set of standards is higher than the MHSA's and a lot of surrounding districts in order for them to be eligible and compliant academically in order to play sports. And I think it really shows when our overall student athlete GPA, this is not weighted, because when we talk about athletics, when we're submitting GPAs to different organizations, those aren't weighted. So these are unweighted, so it's nearly a 3.1. If you weight it and you take in all the advanced courses that several of our athletes do, that becomes much higher. As you can see, 28 of our programs completed their season with over a 3.0. 19 of those were over a 3.2, and 5 of those were over a 3.5 GPA. The highest team or program GPAs were Kettering Boys Cross Country at 3.9, Kettering Girls Cross Country at 3.7, United Girls Golf, this would be a combo of Mott and Kettering, at 3.6, Kettering Volleyball Program at 3.5, Kettering Girls Soccer Program at 3.5, and the Mott Varsity Softball Team at a 3.5. We have 293 LVC Scholar athletes. In order to qualify, you have to have a cumulative GPA, so our freshman varsity freshman athletes don't qualify because they haven't acquired a cumulative GPA yet. So grades 10 through 12, their GPA unweighted needs to be a 3.25 or higher, and nearly half of our eligible varsity athletes are LVC Scholar athletes. We do have academic all-state teams. I know I've explained before, but it's very unique because academic all-state individuals and teams there's criteria that the coaches associations throughout the state impose. So that means even though our 3.9 boys cross country team was probably one of the best in the state, because they didn't qualify as a team for the state finals for cross country, they're not allowed to be academic all-state per the coaches' criteria. Some teams will just say, give me your 10 best GPAs, and so you submit your 10 best GPAs to that coaches association. Some say you can include freshmen, some say you can't. So it's a very much, we work through with the coaches to make sure we submit what they need in order to get our teams recognized for academic all-state. And sometimes you could be at a 3.7, but unfortunately they take 10 teams, and the 10th, you were the 11th team. So we do have Kettering boys soccer. Kettering football was honorable mention. Kettering volleyball was academic all-state. Mott and Kettering girls soccer, that's TBD, but they both should qualify, and Waterford Mott softball should qualify as well. We had 71 Lakes Valley Conference all-conference players, and in basketball this year, there was a voting process, and Waterford Mott's Jacoby Manyweathers was named the Player of the Year for the LVC. We have, again, much like the academic all-state, a lot of times all-district, all-regional, all-metro north that you may have seen in the paper, and all-state are based off of whether it be the Coaches Association, a panel of press and reporters, as well as some coaches on a panel. So the selection process for several of these all-region, all-metro, and all-state are, again, different. For baseball, softball, soccer, they do sit down in a room to determine your all-district and your all-region players. The coaches actually do. So we did have several of those as well. Some additional academic achievements, Waterford Mott football, the furthest of any Waterford football program as we advance to the D2 semifinals. Waterford Mott boys basketball, LVC champs. Boys bowling at Waterford Mott, LVC champs, regional champs, and team state qualifiers. Kettering wrestling, LVC champs. Kettering dance, several competition championships and placements. Dylan Keating, Dylan Crane, and Jay Zimmerman were all LVC champs. Individual qualifiers, we had 5 gymnastics for regional qualifiers, 1 Kettering track, 2 Kettering wrestling, and 3 Mott bowling state qualifiers. As we know, Dylan was here about a month or 2 ago, and he not only was our MHSA D1 state champ for wrestling, but he was also the LVC champ, district champ, and regional champ. Additional achievements, just some pictures, Dylan again, and then Emily Medford from Waterford Kettering Wrestling was the MHSA state runner-up. And then again, that's Caleb up there, but we did have all-state athletes as well, Caleb being one. 24 college commitments of our student athletes, many of them pictured. I can give you a second to look. It's going to take a long time for me to read them all, so I don't need to do that. But out of these 24, we had 18 of our programs represented. So 24 unique student athletes signing to play in college, but 18 of our different programs in Waterford were represented out of these 24. And there was a few not listed, and at the very bottom, you can see I wrote if they're, or not pictured, I mean, and at the bottom, you can see I wrote them. So Juliana Latimer, Andrew Mercier, Bree Sechkowski, and Aiden Reynolds are all gonna advance to play their sports in college. Abby Hanchett, Carter Schroeder, Brendan Riley, and Thomas Cowie all will advance to play their sports in college as well. Emma Madison, Isabella Sheridan, Sophia Torres, and Isabella Taylor will all be playing their sports in college. This happened to all be cheerleaders. Noah Salazar, Diego Rocha, and Jordan Bernard, Kettering football, all will play their sports in college. Mallory Trakoff, Grace Lamb, and Kimmy Camp, and Brady Craig down at the bottom will play their sports in college. And Caleb Osborne, Isaiah Veach, Donovan Isaac, Aiden Bowe, and Mikey Bolin will all play their sports in college as well. So a big thank you. We couldn't do this without our community partners. We actually have several of our home meets, not at Mott and not at Kettering. We use cross country at Hess Hathaway. We use Pontiac Country Club. We use 300 Bowl and Century Bowl. We use Pine Knob, Flip Stars, and Lakeland Arena. So a huge thank you to our community partners because it's not possible to have these sports without a place to play them. And several of our summer camps, if you check out wsdmi.org/athletics, you can click on some of the summer camp flyers. They're also sent out through Peach Jar and emails that you may receive. And going on wsdmi.org/learn and type in the activity code to each flyer, or just search volleyball or basketball or whatever you may be interested in to apply to be in the camp. Next week, we have a Waterford Kettering boys basketball summer camp and a Waterford Mott girls basketball summer camp right next week, so get signed up. At the end of next week is the Waterford Mott football camp. Starting in July, we do have a youth summer swim clinic, which is new this year. So very important if it's a growing sport for us again. We like to get third graders through eighth graders in the pool to learn the sport of swim. We have a Kettering Youth Football Camp in middle of July, and we are offering, again, new this year, a summer bowling camp. So we're hoping that we can have our middle schoolers and high school bowlers be exposed to the sport of bowling, and this will be at 300 Bowl on Thursdays in July and the first part of August. Both of our volleyball programs are running volleyball camps. Kettering's in mid-July, and Mott's at the end of July. Girls basketball camp at Kettering in mid-July, but it'll be held at Mott due to some gym renovations, and an elite basketball skills camp at the end of July, beginning of August. And then we host a couple middle school camps to get our kids ready for their middle school sports. So if Pierce and Mason kids are eager to play football or eager to play volleyball in the middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, we do encourage them to sign up for the middle school volleyball camp and the middle school summer football skills camp. It's just prior to the actual season starting. Just gives them a little bit of a jump start. All right, at this time, I'm going to invite two people to come up and sit with me or stand with me, Shane Hines and Colin McGran. All right, just stand wherever you want. All right, so I'm excited to introduce these two people to you all, to our community. Shane Hines will be the Assistant Athletic Director at Kettering and Pierce, and Colin McGran will be the Assistant Athletic Director at Mott and Mason. Shane has spent the last 5 years as the Athletic Director at Troy High. He lives locally and is excited to get started with us. Shane and I have worked together on several different committees and boards through our work with Oakland County. Colin is a longtime mainstay, 9 years, and a leader at Waterford Mott. He's been involved as a coach, a program leader, an athletic go-to guy for us over the past 9 years at Waterford Mott. He was a teacher there as well. So we welcome both of them. They will be in the buildings, as you can see, for this upcoming school year. So welcome to you both.
Welcome.
And don't forget to check out Twitter and lvcsports.org and our website.
Thank you, Allison.
Yep.
Thank you.
Colleagues, comments or questions? Yes, Member Patricia, please.
We talk about our student athletes. Do we have a minimum grade point average?
So to be MHSAA eligible, they have to be passing 67% of their classes. Our grade point is above that. If they're failing one class, the rest of their classes have to equal a 2.0, or they have to be passing everything.
Okay, so our expectations are higher than what the
Correct.
state.
Correct. And we do check their grades weekly, so they go on a period of ineligibility. It's almost more of an accountability period, because we can check them before, those semester grades come out. If we just let them go all semester long and just check it semester, you don't know necessarily what might happen. So we do check them weekly and stay on top of them to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do.
I thought we did that, but I can't remember everything. But it just, because they're student before they're athletes.
Yep.
But they've represented Waterford well. Again, thank you for 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe that was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Member Sutherland, please.
Thank you. Allison, I'm in awe. We know that I'm not really the sports person on the board here, but what I do know is that when kids are engaged in athletics and in cheer and in activities at school, that they do better in school and that they enjoy the experience a whole lot more. I love what you're doing to try to do more opportunities at our middle school level. So appreciate the camps and the clinics and all of the united teams that you're putting together, because I know exactly what you said. If we start them when they're younger, then they are more engaged in learning at those levels, and then they also want to continue on. We've had, I think, extraordinary success. I truly don't know but 24 signed college athletes, I think, is either at the top or close to the top of any that we've ever signed in a given year. And then just such an impressive list of accomplishments for the district that you, under your leadership and the leadership of your staff and these extraordinary young students that we are so, so proud of. But what is more important to me than the list of accomplishments is what this means in the lives of each one of these students. Is what that team building and being part of a team and being engaged in something bigger than themselves and understanding what it means to give and to take direction and to be accountable and to be responsible and to be a student first, because that's part of the requirement to be an athlete in Waterford, I think is an extraordinary, extraordinary gift that our student athletes get. And so I thank you and I commend you for all that you do for these many, many student athletes and for the Waterford School District. Thank you.
Member Donahue, please.
Allison, thank you so much for the presentation. It's great to see the growth of the athletic programs, here in Waterford, and welcome Shane and Colin. Looking forward to seeing what you guys do with the programs and the schools and all the student athletes also. So again, just love to see it, because athletics is one of the things that attracts and keeps students in our district. And so, thank you.
Thank you.
My sons just finished 6th grade at Pierce, and so this was their first foray into school athletics, and they ran cross-country and track and field. And they loved the experience so much. I loved watching it and seeing the sort of work that it takes from all of our staff and our network, from our administrators down to our teachers, down to our coaches. And it's something to behold. And I think I got a really nice report card the other day when my son Damien, I think this would have been on Monday, he said, "Dad, I miss school." And I said, well, that's a pretty good report card. If that speaks to all that we're doing with our academics and our classroom experience and what they're doing out on the field or the pitch or the golf course or the bowling alley. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Colleagues, any other comments or questions regarding our athletics update?
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome, both of you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, colleagues, let's now turn it over to Mrs. Yvonne Dixon. We're going to talk a little bit about our science curricular materials, biology, chemistry, and physics.
Well, good afternoon. I am so excited to be here before you again. This is my third recommendation for curriculum material acquisition for high school. This represents the last of our core curriculum recommendations, so we now will have updated all of our core content area materials with this recommendation. We are coming forward after several years of teachers piloting materials, analyzing, reviewing. I want to start off by thanking all of the teachers from Mott, Kettering, and Durant for working together collaboratively to study these materials and to pilot them. It is no small task when you ask a teacher to start with a new set of materials and to change everything that they're doing in order to give an honest try to the materials that we have in front of them. They did a wonderful job. I'm so proud of every single one of the teachers who worked with us without complaining, and they're so excited for this recommendation to come forward. We wanted to make sure that whatever materials we were looking at, that they met the state performance expectation standards, that met the next generation science standards. Also, we want to make sure that the materials were things that the students would enjoy using. The teachers are very excited. So in conjunction with the CIA department, the teachers unanimously agreed on these materials in science, chemistry, and physics. So we are very fortunate that we still have ESSER 3 funds to help offset the cost of these materials. Of course, there is a general fund purchase as well. Teachers reviewed 6 different sets of materials, and I will tell you, it was difficult work. I am so proud of them. And so I'm coming before you today with the recommendation that the board approve the purchase of science curriculum materials and digital licenses for high school biology, chemistry, and physics from Savas for a 6-year license. The total cost would be $211,390. We're able to fund that with $154,000 from ESSER 3, with the remaining $57,120 coming from general fund.
Colleagues, what comments or questions do we have, please? Member Jocelyn, please.
Thank you very much, and thank you to all the
welcome.
teachers. I 5 years ago, I sat on this board, and I'm like, what are we going to do about this curriculum?
Yes.
And you guys got it done quick, and you got it done efficiently, and, we all appreciate it, because this was something that has been desperately needed for numerous years.
Yes,
So, thank you very much.
Yeah, and just to reiterate the point that Mrs. Dixon told us, this is, we've now revamped, revised, and upgraded all of our core subjects.
Yes.
That's amazing.
It's a great accomplishment.
Member Sutherland, please.
Just to piggyback on that, is that all core subject at all grade levels?
The high school program is entirely complete.
Okay.
In middle school, we updated social studies. I came forward with that. We updated math, language arts as well. The science was already updated.
I echo my colleagues' comments and thank you profusely. I know it's a lot of work and a lot of work for our teachers to take on new curriculum, to do the assessments, to determine what is it that's going to work best for our students in our classrooms with our teachers. And that I know that's a tremendous amount of work, and so proud of the work that's been done. And it will make a very big difference, I believe, in the classroom and for our students. Just a quick question. I think it might be a question for Sandy or Amy. And does this deplete then the ESSER funds, the fact that we're using some general fund dollars, or is that because of the 6-year duration that we have to push some to general fund?
That is correct.
Okay.
This will be used, or as Ms. Dixon said, this will come out of the ESSER funds. We will be changing some of the summer school back to another grant that we got, 23G, for the purchase of these materials.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Colleagues, other comments or questions, please, regarding our science curricular materials for biology, chemistry, and physics? Member Sutherland.
Sorry, I did want to ask one question. I'm not sure, given the time frame, will these materials be introduced in the fall of this coming school year, or will it take us longer to get there?
Our hope is that they will arrive in the fall. I know that we have to come for an action item the 18th of July.
Oh, because we
The
don't have
next
a board meeting.
So we won't have another board meeting, so it's going to be tight.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Exciting stuff. Thank you so much, Ms.
Thank you.
Okay. Colleagues, moving on now to information item D. We're going to turn it over to Mrs. Sarah Davis for our Stepanski snapshot, or update on our early childhood center.
Hello, good evening, board. I am here for our June Stepanski Snapshot update. My name is Sarah Davis. I'm the Director of Communications and Community Relations. The big event is just under 3 months away now, so we are really starting to iron out a lot of the details, and I'm just going to talk through a few of those things tonight. So we're putting together what's known as the run of show for the actual ribbon cutting event. And what that is that's kind of the official schedule of how that portion of the event is going to run. A few months ago, I reached out to various dignitaries I thought might want to help us celebrate the ribbon cutting, such as Governor Gretchen Whitmer, State Rep Haley Stevens, and perhaps a representative from the Michigan Department of Education. I'm still waiting to hear back, but I am hopeful that maybe one of these folks or organizations will want to come help us celebrate the new building. If not, we have Scott, and he'll do a great job with some comments anyway. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I'll keep you updated. Speaking of dignitaries, we will send formal invitations out to select Waterford community leaders about 6 weeks before the event, with another reminder for them about 2 weeks before. We've already been unofficially inviting the community for some time now, as soon as we started to put that September 14th date out there. But we will be, about 4 weeks before the event, we will start sending some more official reminders out there through Blackboard and social media leading up to the day of the event. In addition to invitations through email and social media posts, we'll advertise the grand opening through some strategic signage. So starting around Monday, August 5th, we will have this billboard up on N59 West near exit 38. The billboard features 4 of our Stepanski students and lets passerby know that we are a leader in early childhood education. Then, starting Monday, August 26th, until the date of the grand opening, we will have banners hung on our overpasses throughout the township to further share the date. With all of this advertising and with how successful the community walkthrough was, we anticipate that we will have a big crowd. So we've been working on the logistics of a transportation plan and incorporating a shuttle as well as backup parking that will likely be from Pierce Middle School, with the shuttle running from 9:30 in the morning till 12:30, continuously bringing people back and forth from the event. Unfortunately, this This past weekend's recent tragedy, I think, highlighted the unfortunate fact that we must be prepared at all times for the unthinkable. That's why we're working hand in hand with the Waterford Police Department to ensure strong security protocols are also in place for this event. Last but not least, I wanted to bring you all in the loop on a special social media campaign that my department has been working on that we've been calling the Lifelong Learner Campaign. As we begin ready for this grand opening, I've heard a couple of board members talk about how they think it would be nice to incorporate some of our older students into this entire process. I've also spoken with a couple of parents who had their kids graduate this past year who started at Stepanski and what an experience that has been. So it kind of got me thinking, why not profile these students ahead of the grand opening? So I reached out to Data Center and asked for a list of every student who has attended our schools, starting with Stepanski, who would also be a senior at the time of the grand opening. I received a list of 51 students. Knowing that would be too many to profile, I then reached out to the principals and asked them to pick out a few that they felt would be comfortable with kind of representing the district in this way as it got closer. From there, we sent out a Google form to those students, asking them questions such as what academic or personal achievements they were proud of, and what does it mean to them to be a lifelong WSD learner. We also asked them to send in a current picture as well as a picture from when they attended Stepanski. Those are some pretty cute pictures. Of the ones we sent the Google form to, 10 responded. So what we're going to do is feature those students on social media in the 10 days leading up to the grand opening to kind of showcase what advantages your child may have when they start their education at Stepanski Early Childhood Center. So thank you. That is what I have for this month's Stepanski Snapshot.
Thank you, Mrs. Davis.
Any questions?
Colleagues, comments, questions regarding that big, beautiful building over there? Member Sutherland, please.
Thank you. The idea of inviting dignitaries, I think that's spectacular. You know, aim big. This is a big deal, and I think that's just so fantastic. This lifelong learners, you could be sitting back exhausted from all the tremendous amount of communication that has been involved in the opening of such a grand building for our community. And instead, you just keep going bigger and better, pushing, and fantastic. This is just, what a beautiful view of our sweet little Stepanski learners and then at graduation. I mean, that is just spectacular. I love it. I just love it so much. And I also want to make sure that for the community that's listening, the grand opening on September 14th, that is really a testament to you as a community. It was you as a community that granted us the bond dollars to be able to build this state-of-the-art early childhood education center. We are grateful to live in a community that cares so much about our students and our youngest learners. So thank you to all of you. I hope you will attend this grand opening. There is much to celebrate in Waterford, and this is another one of those great things that we hope you'll be a part of. Thank you.
Member Patricia, please.
And I don't want it to just be Stepanski per se, because it was Williams Lake School back when I went there, and others that were part of it way back when.
Yes.
So if you could throw a little Williams Lake history or something. Tom Bryce used to sit in the school board, went to Williams Lake along with Jim Larkin, so we had 3 Williams Lake graduates on the board at one time, so.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, that's my
Thank you.
reminiscing.
Thank you, Member Patricia. Colleagues, any other comments or questions?
Thank
Mrs.
you.
Davis. Okay, colleagues, we're going to turn now to our summer tax collection resolution and welcome up Assistant Superintendent Elka. Sandy.
Thank you very much. This resolution is one we bring to you every year. This allows us to collect our operating and our debt millages 100% in July. So we've been doing this since 1996 by collecting it 100% in July rather than splitting between the July and December millages. It helps our cash flow. So this has been something we've done for quite a while, but the statute does require the board to reaffirm it every year. So we're just bringing this forth to you, same as what we did last year. We do have to, by statute, also have this approved by the end of this calendar year for next tax year. So we're doing this way ahead of when we do it because statute requires it. So you will see it says for tax year '25, for school year '25-26. But this is a normal time we bring this, and we are required to have it to the taxing authorities by the end of the calendar year. Just easier to do it in the summer with all the other fun stuff that we do at this time of the year.
Colleagues, comments or questions regarding the summer tax collection resolution? Thank you, Sandy. Okay, we'll stick with Assistant Superintendent Elka. We'll talk about the school meal prices, 24-25.
So, as with the resolution, this meal prices is something we bring to you every year. We review what we want to do for the next year. Last year, we did have a slight increase, even with the universal lunches. This year, we're keeping it the same. So our food prices, of course, have gone up, but what we try to do is not to add to our fund balance unnecessarily. So this year, because we have gotten reimbursements from the federal government and for the state government for the universal, we believe that we have no reason to raise our prices this year. And just for reference, the prices would only be for a second meal for a student or for meals for adults. So we're keeping the prices for the same, and again, we review this every year, so next year we'll take a look at it, see how the prices have gone, and see if we have to make any adjustments. But for this year, we are recommending that the prices remain unchanged.
Member Sutherland, please.
I think I know the answer, but I just want to make sure, because now I might be confused. Are we still providing free breakfast and lunch to all of our students for the
Correct.
following school year?
Correct.
I know you said second meals only.
Correct.
But keeping the price the same, that means our reimbursement rate, is this our actual reimbursement rate?
No, this has
Okay,
nothing to do with our
it.
reimbursement rate.
Just wanted to make
Correct.
sure. Okay, thank you so much.
Colleagues, other comments or questions regarding our meal prices, 24-25? Okay. Thank you, Sandy. Okay, colleagues, that takes us to the end of our information items this evening. Let's move on to the business section of our agenda. And first up, we have some old business, and we will turn it over now, please, to Secretary Sutherland, please.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Ristich. Old Business Superintendent's Recommendation 69-2324, Stepanski ECC Drainage Easement. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the attached stormwater drainage easement and maintenance agreement for the Road Commission of Oakland County, RCOC. It is further recommended that the board authorize the superintendent to sign the easement and maintenance agreement on behalf of the board. I so move.
Support.
Thank you, colleagues. The motion has been moved and supported. And FYI, I know we have Carla's here, and sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, Jeremy Moats is the attorney from Clark Hill who has been working with us on a lot of the property matters. So this is just one example of some of those issues that he helps us with.
Thank you. Colleagues, what comments or questions do we have, please, regarding the easement? Member Petrucia.
And again, I've been talking with Scott about this for the last 3-4 months when it first came up, because the road basically sits below what our property is. My concern with it is says that we will maintain it. If our property's higher than what they're draining onto, but again, I've gotten some stuff here that looks like they're putting in some type of drain, or we are putting, who's putting in the drain? Are we putting it in, or is the road commission?
I think from the engineering standpoint, the school district is putting it in, and is my understanding, is part of the new drainage system that's going in for the parking lot and the bus loop.
Okay, because again, I just drove by there tonight, took pictures. I was like, geez, this sits up a foot higher than the road, puddles on both sides of the road. And my concern is, if we have to maintain it, are they gonna come in when it floods and, oh, your land's too high, you have to dig it out and drain it back down? Again, it mentions the thing where, as a road, we need to account for water coming off the road. No, we don't. They aren't paying us to dump their water onto my road. They could put in a ditch, they could put in something else, and I'm just getting this tonight, so I'm not real excited about it, because I've been talking about this for 4 months. I got my packet a little late because I'm a little late in reading things. But I don't understand the easement, where we have to put in a drain, we have to pay for that for the county, and we are not getting anything for it. I'm disappointed in that.
Well, those would be questions for the school district's engineer, civil engineer that designed this. I can't speak to those. I was just working the legal documents to allow the school district. My understanding is the drain that needs to be installed is going to be on school district property and not in the right-of-way, which therefore necessitates the easement so that their drain can be on their property and they can then drain. Now,
Right.
why that drain is there, that's the engineers designed it, and so I can't answer those
Yeah,
questions.
but the easement property is higher than the road is. And where it says that we must maintain it, that calls into question of, oh geez, your land's too high, you have to dig it out, so our water will drain onto your property.
The maintenance aspect of it is to maintain the drain that was going to be installed, so like clean
By
out
us.
if leaves and stuff gets in it. There's nothing in the maintenance agreement, is the maintenance of the part of the easement, that the maintenance side of it is to maintain the road. It's just the actual drain that's going in there.
We have to put the drain in, is that what?
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay.
And part of this is a result of how we redesigned the whole site. Where we had it before, we did have a drain on the side that was part of the parking lot, but when we went ahead and moved the building back, expanded the parking lot, we had to then redivert the water that was coming off of the new building because it is a little bit different. Remember, we used to have a open field. So that did absorb some of the water that was coming off of it. And so the parking lot was not taking on as much. So we designed a lot of the drainage to be under the new parking lot, but we still needed a section for it to get to. So this is what the engineer came up with as the best location to have that water drain to. And it is on our property because there wasn't enough area in the right-of-way to design the amount of drain that he thought was appropriate for the water coming off of that. So because we're part of the process, part of that drainage, and we have some of it coming off of the roadway, we had to have the RCOC, which is the Road Commission for Oakland County, as part of this process. Now, we've been very good about keeping the interest of the district in when it comes to the agreement with the easement, because their standard agreement basically gives them unlimited easement. We did not want that. This is our property. In the future, just like we designed this drain, if we decide to change how this property is used, it's still our property, and we can make that change at that point. And that was the important thing in this easement, is that we still have the right to do whatever we want with this property in the future. That the fact that we have a drain here that's part of the property and part of the design will not be affected if we change our mind and do something different in the future, which is really what we were trying to protect, is protect our interest in this property.
Right. And again, we have built it up because we have put drainage under there, because that's what's required anymore, is you have to keep rainwater on your property. You can't drain off onto other people. The road commission is draining off onto our property. We have to put in something for them. They could put a ditch along the very front part of the property. That corner basically used to be a softball field back in the 60s when I went to Williams Lake. There was no Campbell Gate. There was no road there. And I understand all that, and it would drain over to that lower part. But since we've put in our own drainage, we've raised the property up. And again, that is my concern.
I don't believe the drainage is finished yet. I think Carla can talk to that because we just started that process with the.
But again, our property is a foot taller than the road.
So that catch basin, they're moving it off of.
So the drains that are there along, there's one on each side of into the subdivision.
Yeah, I'm sure I can show you.
And again, I kind of have pictures of it here. We have a little,
Oh, you do, yeah.
we have this thing right here.
That's where it currently is, and it's getting moved closer to Hatchery Road, right outside of
Okay.
the parking lot.
Where the
That's
curb is broken right now and the water kind of tries to run in there, but it can't because our property's too high.
So there's going to be drainage right there,
Okay.
and then over on this side is where they're putting the storm line here.
Right. And again,
So,
but,
and that's what's part, that's what's
and
on
we, the district, are paying and putting in our own drain so the county can use our property to dump their water on. And they're not giving us anything for it.
There is a portion of that's on.
Okay, so that would be my problem is, we're paying for them to dump water onto our property. If we were private citizens, they would have to pay us. There would be a cost to that. They could ditch the whole front, run it down to Airport Road, and dump the water into my pond where the water goes right now. So again, I just got this tonight, so I'm not real happy. I'll be voting no.
The easement you've had for over a month, we did present it at a previous one. The only thing new is the explanation, so that you have a little bit more detail, and the maintenance agreement.
Well, now that's showing a drain, that there's an actual drain, so that part makes sense. Something will be dug up, put underground and we'll have to maintain it. If it gets clogged or broken, we have to do the expense of rotor-rooting it out and maintaining a waterway that the county is dumping their water, because we've already put the whole system under our parking lot. We've already taken care of our property. This is water coming off of the road. The county, they're not giving us anything, and we're incurring an expense and a maintenance for it. So we've been talking about it, but this is the first time I've seen a picture of a drain, and that is tonight when I sat down, so, no.
No, one unfortunate part about it, the architect explained that the only other area they could have placed it, there's a gas line in the way, so there's not any other options, so.
But I think they could put the ditch, run it down to the rest of the ditch that runs down to Airport Road.
Yes,
Yeah.
But-
according to the architect, they've
Okay.
gone through this several times, and this is the only option for this new part.
And once I can, maybe gather it all in, but not tonight when I first see it. I'm just not happy with it. This is the first time I've seen the drain.
Member Sutherland, please.
I'm wondering, is there I know it's old business, I know that we've brought it back. Is there a reason that it needs to be passed tonight? There is?
Yes, the RCOC is holding up a permit to finish the airport road entrance until they sign this, our board signs it. They have, our attorney has been working with their attorney. They are agreeing in essence to everything, and they're not going to hold the permit until their board approves it. They just want our board to approve it.
And that is the permit for what?
So we have an entrance coming off of airport, and Carla can correct me if I'm wrong, but that, I believe, is the permit they're holding for us until they get the easement. So right now, we have 2 entrances off of Hatchery, and with the new parking lot, part of the design was to have 1 entrance coming off of airport and then 1 entrance off of Hatchery to improve the flow going through. It's a little bit different than an elementary where people will come and do a drop-off. We actually have our parents park and come in. So we're hoping that this helps with a little bit of the flow coming through and protects the staff and the students as they're coming in.
So what is the response when it's posed to them that we're selling you our own property for $1, an easement? I think they're paying $1 for it, correct? For the easement? I think that's what I saw in the agreement. And then they're going to dump their water on our property, and we are responsible for cleaning the drain and all further maintenance associated to that drain? It does sound very contraindicated.
Especially when, as Ms. Carla said, that's the only option. So if we have the only option, if the only option is this, how do we not have leverage?
We can't.
Well, you're not selling your property. An easement is just allowing another entity to use your property for a specific purpose. So you're not selling it. Under the law, you have to have consideration for these types of transactions. So the $1 is the consideration, If you want to demand them to pay more, that's up to the board to make that decision. My understanding from talking with the engineers, going back to, the whole history of why this is there, the engineers can speak to that, but this is the only option to work this drainage with respect to the new drainage, new parking lot that was put in. But you're not selling property, it's just the right to use it. The maintenance is just with respect to the drain that's on your property that's coming in and draining. You're responsible for that. I think it's 10 feet, I forget the actual length. I think it's about 10 feet of pipe, that's it.
10 feet by 70 feet.
Oh, it's 10 feet wide by 70 feet long?
I'm not sure I'm not sure.
That's what it was when.
It's just a portion of it. There's a portion of it's on your property. It's a very small portion.
Member Donahue, please.
So it kind of sounds like we're in a little bit of a standoff with the road commission. We approve this so that we can get the permit for the airport road pull-off. If we don't approve this, then they don't approve and give us the permit for the airport road. Well, isn't that politics in action?
We need that to be able to put the parking lot in, to be able to
Correct.
do the landscaping, and that pisses me off.
Yeah.
Sorry. We have to do it, but I don't like it. I don't like the way it came to me tonight. I've asked the question, I'm just seeing the drain. I don't like it.
How long is this agreement in perpetuity?
As long as the drain's still there.
And they own
As
the
long as the
drain?
road's still there.
As long as the road's still there.
No, yeah, just the road, yeah.
So it's a forever easement?
So the way we did this is as long as we're using the drain, they have an easement. If we redesign the property and that drain is taken out, then their easement ends. And that's what was so important for us, is that we still will have future use and for future determination of our property.
Can we determine that we just don't want to use their drain? We don't want to let them drain their water. We're putting up a cost.
I think we talked about them paying at least the cost that we are going to incur to put in the drain that they are then going to use. We talked about that. Is that not?
I apologize, I don't remember talking about that. I know that Member Patricia has asked about trying to get a consideration, but in many cases with easements, there's usually not. And if we were selling them the property, then that would be perhaps an opportunity to get something for it. But I thought it was in our future interests to keep that property in case we decide to redesign it in the future. I did not feel that giving them the ownership of that easement area would be in our best interest, because at some point.
No, absolutely, I agree.
Redesign it,
Yep.
and we want to be able to do what we want with our property.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to give them property that,
We couldn't ever do anything else with it because they would again hold it up. They hold us hostage. It's not our water. Our water's going under our parking lots, the way it's designed, the way it's made to be done. It's their water coming onto our property. And we are putting in a drain, and we are maintaining a drain for their water.
As well as ours.
Ours is already built under the parking lot. We aren't putting any water onto that road.
Correct, because of the drain.
Because of the drain, because of the system that we have put underneath our property to drain it all. That's been done. So our water's not going anywhere but on our property. Their water is coming onto our property, and all they're doing is holding up us being able to build our parking lot and driveway.
so are our hands genuinely tied?
Yes.
There is no other, they will not compensate us for the cost of the drain that we're putting in, for the maintenance that we'll have to incur? There's no compensation, even though this is really their drain for their water on their road. The road commission. If we were a private citizen, how would that ever be fair? And we should be treated no different than a private citizen. We're a nonprofit entity.
Mr. Morse, how can they withhold one permit that seemingly has nothing to do with this easement?
That's the way that they want to handle it. I don't know how they're related, but that I'm aware of. I have not been involved with the permitting process for the entrance, for that new entrance, so I'm not sure how they're being deemed related, other than since it is a ingress egress onto a public roadway, the local municipality does have the ability for that situation to get, they have to do the permitting.
They're literally holding us hostage. It's mind-boggling.
I think that's it. They're holding us hostage. That's just the way that it is, and I don't think any one of us likes it, but in order to move ahead with what we need to get done for the early childhood center, we've just got to grin and bear it and take it.
Do we have a price of what this drain is costing us? Okay. Scott, if you can get that to me, so when we do it, just so I can be a little more upset.
Not just that, the price of what we're costing to put this drain in, labor and the cost of the drain itself, but also ongoing maintenance estimates.
And will that be bonded?
So can you add that additional cost as well? And did we ask them to pick the cost up for that? Was that part of any of this discussion?
For the drain, no, that was just part of our plan to go ahead and get the drain under the parking lot and get the water to the edge of the property.
But the drain that is, the road commission will be using that we now have to maintain, the cost of that, have we discussed with them paying for that?
No,
Why?
Yeah.
because we felt that this was our drain and they are having some of their water come onto our property. We can ask for what percentage, because the engineers would know this, the percentage of water that would be theirs from the road and how much from our property, and that can help us as well. So we could take a look at that percentage.
But no water from our property should be draining off, because again, we have put the drainage system under our parking lot. We're going to have the green grasses out front. We're going to have all the landscaping. We shouldn't have any water basically draining onto the road.
Is that a true
because that's
statement,
illegal.
Carla? Is that a true statement?
Or the detention system.
Yeah, right, and again, because again, if you drain water onto a road, that's illegal. You can't do that, you can't have, so our water is not, it's 100% rainwater from the road is gonna be coming onto our property. It isn't a percentage-wise, it's their water, it's road water. Our water, because it's our roads. Pat's, because Pat lives in the neighborhood, and I don't want it to flood out then. But again, when I went by it on the way here, there's water at both corners of the road, and there's drains 20, 30 feet back in between the road and our driveway in. Yeah, are those drains then going to be moved?
I don't know the logistics.
Okay, and again, just because it's kind of like our parking lot, you got a puddle here and a puddle here, and a drain over there somewhere. Yeah, are they going to be, you know, we're going to be putting in $10,000 worth of drain, and it's not, it's going to have to be 3 feet of water before it goes to it. So it has to be approved, but this should have been taken care of. It's not our water. Road commissioner water, community water, getting dumped onto our property.
Can I ask, when the plan was developed for the underwater system on there, was part of that the civil engineers did, was there, at that time, when they developed this project, was a drain already on that, or not on it, but a part of that project and to be put on the easement? Or is this something that, as a totally separate from the drainage system, was something that we had to do for the road commission? Do you happen to know?
In other words, was it on the original site plan?
Thank you. Thank you. Was it on the original site plan, or is this something that we've had to hook in and install and put in specifically for the road commission?
I do not have that answer. I could reach out to French for that.
Okay.
But the easement's always been in place.
Yep.
We've had, there's other things that are on that easement that.
They used to drain the water onto our property.
Right.
It's always been that way, but
Because,
This is just a different, we have to put
it used to be on top, now we're putting in a drain to drain it off.
because if it was something that was originally put into the original site plan for any drainage issues on our property, and then this has just been added on for the road, through the road commission, I think that that's a very fine line.
I agree.
believe that's the case, but I would have to find
Okay,
out.
absolutely, I understand.
know that they had to put one, and they were gonna put it in a different location,
Okay.
and it wouldn't work because of what
Yep.
was, underground.
And I get it, that was a very specific question, but if that's something that you guys could look into, I'd be interested to see.
Because the other thing that we can go back to the engineers and architects is they're used to, my understanding from trying to get as much information from French, the architects, about this, and the reasoning behind it, why they designed it this way, is there was a catch basin on the parking lot that's going to be demolished that was all part of the whole drainage in that area. And when that's removed, and it was all put, this is all part of being, that one catch basin was being removed as part of the demo of the parking lot. And so this was like a resulting component of it. Now, that's coming just from the information that I'm getting from the engineers and me asking questions, so I had enough information to negotiate the actual easement and the maintenance agreement. But they would need to speak more, again, to the design, to it, as opposed to the legal language that's put into the document that I was working on.
And I would be curious, has the road commission been there, or are they just looking at a plan? Because again, if you go there, you can see like, geez, it used to drain into our property because it used to be lower. Since we've redone it and we've buried the drainage system there, we've raised our property up some. So it's impossible for that water now to drain into it like it used to since they put the neighborhood in the 70s. So again, it's something, we've been talking about it for a few months. I thought something was being done on it. Now I'm finding out there's a drain and we're putting it in. That just doesn't work well for me. Other than we have to do it. I understand that, but I just don't like the way it's come about.
So to summarize, Member Donahue was asked whether or not the original site plan contained this drain, contained the easement, but did it contain the drain? In which case, the county would be dictating revisions to a site plan that it already approved. And we have, in order to have the easement, we are putting in the drain at our cost and absorbing the cost to maintain it. To do that, in order to prove or to force us to do that, they are also withholding a permit for modifying Airport Road, modifying an Airport Road entrance into our parking lot, our new parking lot at Stepanski. I just wanted to summarize, that's where we're at.
Thank you, and we don't know the cost of putting in the drain or of the maintenance, and we're agreeing to this in perpetuity if we vote to approve that tonight, meaning this is something that Waterford School District will be responsible for from now until forever, until such time as the road is no longer there or we no longer use the property in that way. I am not comfortable with that. I do not believe that Waterford School District should absorb this for the road commission. I recognize that we need the permit. I'm not sure the timing of, I don't obviously want to slow up the project, but I also feel like we need to protect the Waterford School District's interests here because this is forever. This is we are stewards of the school district right now. We will not be on the board when they are still maintaining, paying, replacing, that is, it feels like we're getting a really raw deal here. So I'm not comfortable with this either. I'm just not sure what to do about it, given that they've tied it.
Parking lot. And again, they're out there grading it. They're ready to start. You need an entrance.
But this motion is also, would we have to come back for a second resolution to approve the cost of the drain?
That's just part of the site plan.
We're going to get billed for it. It's going to be part of their bill.
That's already been approved, that was part of the 2305 court site package.
So
Well-
the basis of this is, again, going back, the engineers, the way they designed it, this was the only place that this drain could go, them summarizing what they've told me. This would normally go in the right-of-way, and there would be no discussion amongst the parties. But because of the way the land is, the drain needs to go 10 feet into your property. Since it's their drain, they need to have the easement. That's, summary.
I'm wondering if we can-
Right away, there would be no discussion amongst, the parties because it's in the right-of-way. But there's a gas line and a 3-inch gas line and a 10-inch water main that are in the right-of-way, so this drain can't fit. You can't put all of it in there.
I'm wondering if we can modify, I recognize all of the stipulations, thank you. I'm wondering if we can modify the motion as it sits before us to approve this with the agreement that they will pay for the cost of the installation, because you must know what that is, because it's already been, that they will pay for the cost of the installation of the drain, and that there will be some accommodations for the annual, or the maintenance costs going forward, whatever the percentage of that might be. I believe this is all their water based on how it's being described, which means the 100% of that should also come from the road commission. So, or that we modify the motion to say that they will pay for the cost of the installation of the drain. They will reimburse the district, because it sounds like we've already contracted for it, for the cost of the drain, the installation, and that ongoing maintenance will be done by the road commission. I feel like that is fair. But I don't know if we can do that. Then we have stipulations, I know.
What we would need, Jocelyn, Member Donahue, any thoughts here?
How long does it take to get the permit? Like if we said no, how long will it take them to get a new permit? I mean, I realize that we're under a timeline because we need the parking lot done. How long did it take them to get the permit?
Well, I think they've already requested the permit, they just haven't been given the permit yet.
Stated that the permit cannot be they can't even apply for the permit at this time. But permits, it could take up to a week to get a permit, depending on what they require.
So we wouldn't come back to, till
But we don't have another meeting
July.
until middle of July, that's too late.
July. Then we have
The
to-
parking lot has to start getting done now.
I don't like it, but it seems like we need to do it.
It's not a, go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, I would be willing to come in the beginning of July to vote on, I would rather know.
I agree.
I would rather know.
That's fair. We owe it to our community.
I
think
mean,
that's fair.
I know people don't like special meetings, but, I mean, there's no choice. We need French and Associates, we need them to be in here, and I really would like somebody from our RCOC to come in here and explain to this. I mean, I kind of get it with their explanation that it was there, we're removing it to put it in the parking lot, so because we're removing it, we have to put something there to catch it. I get it.
There wasn't actually anything there, it just drained under our property. I'm
No,
sure.
it tells you right here in the top part that it was there, it was under,
Under the old park.
it was under the old parking lot, in that drain, it tells
The
you right
red
here.
one there, okay,
Right here at the top in the second paragraph.
in the picture.
Yeah, it tells you that it was there, so then when we dug it up to remove it, to put in our drainage portion, we now have to tie in and account for theirs. So it does tell you that, but then I don't understand why they need an easement. Why do you need an easement? If we have to pay for it, it's our property and we have to maintain it, why do you need to come on it?
Well,
I mean,
the drain is part of, so it's going to be on your property, but it's part of their drain, so.
I get it, but if we have to maintain it,
Right, their drain, the one that we're paying for.
yeah.
Yeah, their drain, the one that we're paying for and that we're maintaining, so that we can maintain it for their water. It's a raw deal.
So colleagues' options are to approve it, disapprove it, or table this to a date to be determined.
Can we do a phone type vote, or does that have to be, it has to be in the open? We have to all get together and,
I don't have a problem with that. I mean,
Okay.
let's see if we can get these people together before the holiday and, or, even the week of the holiday or so, it just has to be quick. We just want them to answer these questions, because we do need to proceed with that parking lot. It will mess everything up if we have to continue to delay the parking lot.
And in all honesty, if we could meet before July 4th, or that week, the
Right.
sooner the better, because we're already.
it almost has to be
Even if
first
it's.
part of next week.
Right, first part, and that's what I'm thinking, first part of next week. But it does give us time to find out, will they, we get some more answers, and will they absorb the cost? And the maintenance. There should be a maintenance agreement that they are the ones to maintain it.
Pat brought up a good point, if they've already approved it without the drainage, how can they hold up our permit?
I think Jeremy can also attest to the fact that how much time he has spent trying to get with their attorney. So while I understand what you're saying about.
It's not all that easy.
It's not all that easy, and I think he can attest to how much time he has spent
Maybe that should encourage Jeremy's costs as well.
trying
Right.
to get with their attorney.
Well, we need a
These
parking
are-
lot.
Is there a motion to table this to a date to be determined?
I would make the motion to table it.
Support.
Thank you, colleagues. The motion to table this to a date to be determined has been moved and supported. Comments or questions? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. I see the motion carries 5-0. Thank you, colleagues, for that discussion. Sandy, Jeremy, Carla, thank you.
Thank you. Well, that's how it works.
The next one is easy. Yay.
Always say.
Yay, this one's a good one. This one's easy. Superintendent's recommendation 82-23-24, policy updates. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the new and revised bylaws and policies as presented, and I so move.
Support.
Support.
Thank you, colleagues. Motion's been moved and supported. Comments or questions, please? Member Sutherland.
Very straightforward. I just wanted to thank you, Megan. I believe you're the one who put together the updates, and really appreciate the attention to detail on the address, on the fingerprinting, on the adding interim so that it was clear that that's where linking back. Those are all really good changes, and really appreciate the work you did to put that together. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you, motion carries 5-0. New business, summer tax collection fees, Treasurer Donahue, please.
Superintendent's recommendation 83-23-24, summer tax collection fees 2024-2025. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the 2024-2025 summer tax collection fees as presented. I so move.
Support.
Thank you, colleagues. The summer tax collection fees have been moved and supported. Any comments or questions? Very good. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you. The motion carries 5-0. Treasurer Donahue, revised budget, please.
Superintendent's recommendation 84-23-24, resolution for adoption of the Board of Education of Waterford School District revised budget for 2023-2024. Resolved that this resolution shall be the general appropriations Waterford School District for the fiscal year 2023-2024. A resolution to make appropriations and to provide for the expenditure of the appropriations and to provide for the disposition of all income received by Waterford School District. Be it further resolved that the revised total revenues of $123,564,069 and unappropriated fund balance available of $15,900,832 for appropriations in the general fund of the Waterford School District for fiscal year 2023-2024. This is an increase of $12,601,516 from the original 2023-2024 budget. The increase in revenue is mainly due to an increase in revenues from the state of Michigan and an increase in the federal grant appropriations. Be it further resolved that $122,963,022 is hereby appropriated to the general fund. Be it further resolved that $11,110,156 is hereby appropriated in the school service fund. Be it further resolved that $7,009,677 is hereby appropriated in the Special Education Center Program Fund. Be it further resolved that $20,061,594 is hereby appropriated in the Debt Retirement Fund. The appropriation details in this resolution are available to the public upon request. I so move.
Support.
Thank you, colleagues. The motion has been moved and supported. Comments or questions, please, regarding the 23-24 revised budget? Do you have any comments or questions regarding 23-24 revised budget?
No, thank you.
All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. All those opposed, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you. The motion carries 4-1. Treasurer Donahue, please.
Superintendent's recommendation 85-23-24, millage rates 2024 to 2025. It is recommended that the Waterford Board of Education certify the following tax levy of 9.75 mils homestead and 24.75 mils non-homestead to the charter townships of Waterford, Independence, White Lake, West Bloomfield, and the City of Lake Angeles for the 2024-2025 school district tax collection. I so move.
Support.
Thank you, colleagues. The motion has been moved and supported. Comments or questions, please, regarding the millage rates 24-25. Very good. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you. The motion carries 5-0. 4-0. Treasurer Donahue, 24-25, original budget, please.
This is the long one. I'm going to take another drink here. All right, Superintendent's Recommendation 84-23-24. Resolution for adoption of the Board of Education of Waterford School District Revised Budget 2023-2024. Resolved that this resolution shall be the general appropriations Waterford School District for the fiscal year 23-24. It's not right. Let me just,
Sorry.
yep.
Where we're at.
Hold on one second. Let me start over with the correct dates. Correct, Sandy? Okay, so I'm making sure. Okay. Let's start over. All right. Superintendent's Recommendation 84-23-24, resolution for the adoption by the Board of Education of Waterford School District Revised Budget 2024-2025.
I'm sorry, I think it's 86.
Should be 86.
Yeah,
All right.
86, 23, 24.
All right, I thought I was going backwards.
Do you have one for that's 86?
No. No, it says 84-23-24.
That's the
Revised,
same one that
revised.
you just did.
The 86 one might have just had the date incorrect. It's possible.
Yep, wrong one highlighted. All right,
Sorry.
here we go. Let me just go through this just to make sure.
Yep. Hold on a second, Member Donahue.
Yep, we're,
Ms. Roberts, we have, I don't know if we have the correct language.
that's the one I just read. There's a double copy of that. Okay. Please hold.
Want me to do some zippy music in the background?
You're doing a great number with them, or a great job with them numbers, Pat.
Thank you.
Colleagues, I'm wondering if we take a quick, can we take a quick recess and, I have it right here. Oh,
Yeah. Oh, that's. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Here, I've got,
Okay, this is the one I can read? Yes. Okay. Okay, great. Well, Amy? And those are the correct ones? Yes. Okay. Perfect. Okay. My apologies. All right. Okay. Superintendent's Recommendation 86-23-24, a resolution for adoption by the Board of Education of Waterford District, original budget 2024-2025. Resolved that this resolution shall be the general appropriations Waterford School District for fiscal year 2024-2025, a resolution to make appropriations and to provide for the expenditure of the appropriations and to provide for the disposition of all income received by Waterford School District. The property tax rate will be 18 mils on non-homestead property. The proceeds will be used to pay general fund operating expenses. Be it further resolved that $120,582,785 is hereby appropriated in the general fund. Be it further resolved that $11,110,156 is hereby appropriated in the school service fund.
I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. I'm not seeing those same numbers here. I must have a different, this one, the number that you just gave for general fund,
Yep,
what was that amount?
$120,582,785.
I don't have that anywhere here in 86, 23, 24.
That should be your expenditure total for general fund.
This resolution.
Okay, got it, yes, thank you, my apologies, my sincere apologies. I see it here, be it further resolved. Okay, got it.
Sorry.
I thought I had a different version, thank you.
Be it further resolved that $7,009,677 is hereby appropriated in the Special Education Center Program Fund. Be it further resolved that $19,705,544 is hereby appropriated in the Debt Retirement Fund. Now therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Education hereby directs the superintendent to present an amended budget for discussion at the Committee of the Whole meeting on August 1st, 2024, following the announcement of the state education budget, with a recommendation for approval presented at the August 15th, 2024 regular meeting. I so move.
Support.
Thank you, colleagues. The motion has been moved and supported. What comments or questions do we have, please, regarding the 24-25 original budget? Member Sutherland.
I appreciate all of the hard work and effort that it takes to put together a budget of this magnitude. I did spend quite a bit of time. It's difficult when we don't receive the packet until late Tuesday afternoon, and for something of this magnitude, we would request that we see it sooner so that we don't burden you with our questions and the timing of that, trying to prepare for a Thursday board meeting. I did have some concerns that I raised and have spent a significant amount of time reviewing, and so for that reason, I am going to be a no vote on this budget.
Colleagues, other comments, questions, please? All those in favor? Sorry?
Jim mentioned that.
That is the motion under consideration.
Okay,
Motion under consideration is to approve the budget so that we meet our obligation to pass a budget by June 30th, but we expect an amended budget by August 1st for
Correct.
board action.
Okay. All right.
So for folks following along at home, boards of education have to pass a budget by June 30th. It's one of the things we are required to do by law. And we've seen the budget, we've commented on the budget, discussed the budget, and the Board of Education expects an amended budget by August. Are there other comments or questions, please? All those in favor of the motion as presented by Member Donahue, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you. All those opposed, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you. The motion carries 4-1. Treasurer Donahue, please. Consideration of certain purchases.
Superintendent's recommendation, 87-23-24, esports machines. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the purchase of 20 esport machines and monitors with a 5-year warranty under the REMC Save 2024 contract with People Driven Technology for our high school unified team. The total cost is $37,567.80, funded by the 2020 bond. I so move.
Support.
Thank you, colleagues. The motion has been moved and supported. What comments or questions do we have regarding the purchase of esports machines? I'll say really quick, this is an exciting, many of us have been learning about esports recently because of the resolution under consideration this evening. Again, just one more example of all the exciting momentum we have here in Waterford to provide our students a really world-class experience here in terms of academics, our extracurriculars, and our athletics. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you, everyone. The motion carries 5-0. I have in front of me,
If we could, please, just because I'm really sitting here thinking about somebody else.
Yep.
That's what I'm gonna say.
can we take a quick bathroom break?
Yes.
Quick 5-minute recess? Okay, quick 5-minute recess, please. Everyone who's here as well, I only have one green card up here. If anyone who'd like to address the board, please grab a green card. They are up by the podium. Thank you. 5 minutes, quick restroom break.
important. I'm gonna say publicly, so.
Are there other green cards, please? Okay, I have 3 green cards. Is that it this evening? Okay. Green card, please. Thank you. Okay, welcome everyone. So we're now going to take public comments on non-action items. And we know tonight, based on the communications we've received, our green cards here, that much of the public comment will be concerning the hiring of Mr. Stephen Wolf. And we're excited that folks are here and excited to welcome folks to our public comment. Before we begin, just a couple things. Based on the communications that we've received, want to just address a couple concerns before we head off into public comment. Number one, Mr. Stephen Wolf was hired in an open meeting. It was a special meeting, but it was a rescheduled regular meeting. So we had a meeting where we didn't get quorum, so we had to reschedule that meeting. It was done at Crary with members of the public in attendance and in line with law and common practice. Number two, just so folks know that Mr. Stephen Wolf has been hired as a lateral move from Oxford. He was serving as an assistant superintendent over there. He will be serving as an assistant superintendent of 612 instruction here as an assistant superintendent. So this is a lateral move. And that means reporting directly to the superintendent, Superintendent Lundberg over there. Two, we know that we've received quite a few emails, and they're hard to get to, but one reason why it's hard, or why folks, hey, why don't you respond to these emails? A couple reasons, real quick. It is board operating procedure and our norms that once a motion is passed, then it has been passed, and we don't deliberate it about the motion once it has been passed. Secondly, all district communications come through the assistant superintendent, and that communication is at the podium and there for everyone to read. And finally, our minutes speak. So on a Board of Education, the minutes represent the actions and voice of the board. So we have our minutes. Those minutes have been provided to anyone who's wanted to read them. They're there tonight in our consent agenda as well. So again, just to reiterate, open meetings, our minutes speak, the board speaks through, any communication is going to come from the superintendent. And we're happy that folks are here to voice their concerns, and we're glad you're here. Really quick, public comments. We'd like, please, to preface your comments by stating name and address for the record. Comments are limited to 3 minutes in duration. Member Patricia will be keeping time. At the sound of the timer, please conclude your comments. Members of the public are invited to share comments. However, this is not intended to be a time for question and answers, and part of the reason it's not a time for question and answers is because we would be deliberating, and we can only deliberate on resolutions or motions that are in front of the board for deliberation. Participants may speak only once on the same topic and are, of course, asked to avoid statements that are personally directed, abusive, or obscene. So again, thank you, everyone, and we're going to welcome up, please, Becky H? Heichel. Welcome, Ms. Heichel.
Hello. So I am a proud resident and have been for 43 years of this district. I am a graduate of this district. I have 2 students, current going into senior year and a former. I also have 8 nieces and nephews and 1 great-nephew that have gone through this education system. Some of you know me from our COVID days when we were virtual, probably know me by first name. I was very instrumental and spoke on behalf of my thoughts and opinions during that time. I have listened, I've read the email that we got from superintendent, and I do want to address some of the things that were in there in regards to Mr. Wolf. First and foremost, you do call out a lot of the positives and great things that he did during the acts that happened. However, in the report, that is public report that anybody can pull, that is published, that you referenced in your letter, there are a couple of things that are mentioned in the first 30 pages. On page 5, they state, however, as set forth more fully below, in certain critical areas, individuals at every level of the district, of the board to the superintendent, his cabinet, and the OHS administration. Mr. Wolf was the president, or was the actual leading of that school, to provide a safe and secure environment. He failed. They failed. Although only the shooter is guilty of the murder and the assault, and his parents will be tried for their alleged gross negligence with respect to their son, the district was responsible for keeping all of those individuals safe. It is tempting for the district, the OHS district, to look at this tragedy as a random act. Unfortunately, by doing so, that is somehow random, inevitable, and unavoidable. That pain will continue, and the opportunity to do something about that before them, not only after the fact, that would have been lost. In the report on page 28 and 29, the overall assessment of threat assessment and suicide intervention, their review confirmed that there were breakdowns in implementation and execution of the district's threat assessment and suicide intervention policies and guidelines at every level of the district, from the board to the superintendent to the OHS administration and the OHS staff. On page 30, they also say, we believe the OHS administration bears the responsibility. The superintendent's office failed to effectively communicate the threat assessment policy to the OHS administration. The policy was publicly published for the entire administration. It is incumbent on the building level administrators to proactively okay. Who can I email this to? Because I would like it made of record so that other people in the district can read it.
To the whole board?
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Heiko. Let's please welcome up now Ms. Tessie Bell. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Tess Bell. I am a Waterford resident and parent. I am also an Oxford High School alumni in class of 2012. I did not plan on speaking today, but was encouraged by a parent in Oxford whose child was a victim of the shooting. I'm here to speak on the hiring of Stephen Wolf. Rather than share my opinion on his hiring, I wish to ask and see if Mr. Wolf would be willing to make a clear and detailed statement of his plans, promises, and responsibilities to the district and parents of Waterford. This way, Mr. Wolf, This way, if Mr. Wolf does not follow through, there will be no controversy or question as to where his responsibilities and fault lie. Know that the community will hold him and the board accountable. His failures will fall on the shoulders of all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Bell. Let's welcome up, please, Mr. Keith Simpson. Welcome, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you. My name is Keith Simpson, 714 Reynolds. I've been a resident for 24 years. My niece graduated from here. My oldest daughter just graduated last year, and I have 2 daughters currently enrolled. It was a normal work day when my best friend got the phone call that his daughter had been evacuated next door, and she was waiting in the parking lot for him to come pick her up, that there had been a school shooting. I was there when he received the call, and I was there over the next several months and years and saw the fallout of what happened to that poor girl. She couldn't sleep at night. She had PTSD. Some of her best friends had been killed. My daughter had just played her team, the Oxford team, in volleyball just the week before. So my daughter was personally affected. I had introduced them. Fast forward to today, and we're looking at the wonderful academics and athletic pictures. And I knew a good percentage of the people on there. I knew someone that got a scholarship. I'm very active in the community, and when she said that we put the students first, I asked myself, is that what the school board did? Did you guys put the students first when you decided to hire this man who was so negligent in taking care of the students he was sworn to protect? Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you.
Ms. Nicole Navano, please.
Thank you for hearing me out. My name is Nicole Navarro. I'm a resident of Waterford, have been for many years. I have 11 children in this district, or have gone through this district. I have 4 grandchildren about to start this district. I don't have facts. I don't have numbers. I am a mother speaking to you, saying I don't feel safe sending my kids to these schools every day now. I don't. The education has been failing them. The staff has been failing them. Our Board of Education is failing them. And we're all tired. We're tired. We don't know what to do, so we look to you to run it for them. And you're failing us. You're failing my kids. And we've had enough. Thank you.
Okay. Those are all of the green cards that I have this evening. Name, please.
Heather Sipineri. I'm a teacher here. Not only am I a teacher here, I grew up here. I have been in this community for my whole life. I went to Prairie, I graduated from Mott, I was gone for 5 years. I came back and started my career here. I am very dedicated to the children of this district. I have been for almost 30 years. And I am frustrated at the hiring of Mr. Stephen Wolf. And I am frustrated because I want to feel safe. And I'm basing my opinion on facts, not emotion. I don't know him. I'm trying to reserve judgment, but in all of the buildings that I have been in this district, and there have been many, the principal has always had a pulse on the building. He should have had a pulse on the building that day, and he did not. And as a result, 4 children are dead. Their families will never be the same. I do not want our community to have to feel what those parents and the Oxford community continues to feel daily. My teaching partner's daughter the teacher of the year, her daughter was supposed to be at school that day. But by the grace of God, she had COVID and was home. It touched her. She's traumatized. They both are. And now she has to come to school every day here and worry about whether or not she is safe. Her daughter has to worry about whether or not her mother is safe. And I don't think that's fair. I was not affected directly by the Oxford school shooting other than I'm a teacher and I want to go to school and I want to feel safe. And I feel like our community as a whole has had so much negativity in the past, even with all this beautiful new stuff and the new curriculum and the wonderful things that you are bringing to make us competitive with everyone around us. I appreciate that and I get it. And I know it's happening and it makes me proud to work here. I want to continue to be proud to work here. I want to continue to feel safe. I want to continue to represent the families that I have loved so much for so long. I don't want my daughter to have to worry about me going to work. I don't think it was the best decision for us. I just don't think it was. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Spineri. Okay, those are the green cards that I have. Okay, excellent. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight and for standing up here in front of the Board of Education. We appreciate. Colleagues, moving on now to our Board of Education reports. Do we have any reports this evening? Member Petrucia, please.
In our consent agenda, that's where people are retiring and doing all the kind of fun things. I don't always look through all of them, but one of the names caught me, Mrs. Bandlow. She was one of my son's teachers. That truly made a difference. He didn't really care for school. He didn't do as well as maybe his brothers did, but she brought something out of it. I believe it was math. He excelled in her class, got good grades, went to another teacher, and I remember it says at conferences, the other teacher, has he always struggled in math? No, just since he got you. Because Mrs. Bandlow was just so much, I want to thank her publicly for doing that for my son. I knew the name, I had to call him to find out, is this the one that you used to talk about? And it was, so thank you, Ms. Bandlow. And that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Colleagues, other Board of Education reports this evening? Yeah, Member Sutherland, please.
I had an opportunity to go to several end of year. The school district is just filled with so many beautiful activities for families, for students, for staff, to celebrate learning. And I had one of those opportunities, and I just wanted to give a call out to the Pierce staff and students who did the wax museum. There were so many students lining the halls, and each one of them, actually, rather than having them read me their script, I asked them why they chose the person that they chose to enact and to become in their wax museum. And that was just, every single conversation I had with these kids was really remarkable. And it's just always, as board members, so great to be in with the students. It reminds you why we're here. It reminds you how amazing these kids are. So I just wanted to thank the peer staff for that. And this is happening in schools, in all of our schools, amazing things happening. I also wanted to commend my fellow board members. Last night, the OCSBA, the Oakland County School Board Association, honored both President Ristich and Treasurer Donahue. They have 2 levels of recognition for taking courses, and for merit of distinction, I think was the second one. And so I just wanted to commend them for that. It was a great, I will say, our colleagues over in Pontiac were honored as 6 of them received merit awards that the board had banded together, and I thought that was just so commendable because it shows you how public servants are alive and well in our communities, in our country, and they're there for the good of the kids. And I just really, that was one of the great moments of the evening for me. I'm just really proud of our colleagues over in Pontiac. I really like, I'm just going to sound like a weirdo for a minute, so I'm sorry, but really commend this board. I think this meeting tonight, meetings are difficult. There are a lot of really hard decisions that have to be made throughout the entire agenda, and we don't always all agree. In fact, almost always we don't, to be quite honest, and that's where really good policy comes from. Those dialogues, when they're done respectfully and with really empathic listening, understanding where someone else is coming from, and we all bring something different to that dialogue. And when that happens, it is, I think, a beautiful thing for the community. And so I just wanted to commend this board. I thought it was really an outstanding example of what it looks like when we all are working for the same objective, even though we might come to it from a different perspective. You know, when we all find middle ground, that's where really good policy is made. So really commend all of you. And buried in our consent agenda was a retirement that I don't know that we have announced. So was there something else going to happen on that? Or, okay. So it's just in a consent agenda. I actually wrote down Monica Bandlow as well. But buried in there was our superintendent of schools. And Mr. Scott Lindbergh will be retiring. And I don't know if that's in your board report. I don't want to steal your thunder. But that was, you've been with us since before COVID, and since right before COVID, a very difficult time to come into a new school district. And I know that we will celebrate you. Your last day, I believe, is December 31st, and we will be extolling your virtues. But I didn't want that to be lost in the consent agenda. We so appreciate your service to the Waterford School District, your positive attitude, the energy that you bring, the vision that you bring, and we will have lots of time for celebration, but just didn't want to get that little thing lost in the consent agenda. So that's everything that I have. Thank you so much.
Member Donahue, please.
As Trustee Sutherland was talking about, you left yourself out of that award ceremony last night because you were there also and receiving awards.
Cleaned up, too.
Cleaned up, yes, absolutely. So that was wonderful, and it was just a wonderful evening just to be able to recognize board members from around Oakland County. And so congratulations to you, too, in regards to the awards that you received, absolutely. That's it.
Summer school's right around the corner, Camp WSD, and I'm excited because this is not summer school of yore. This is summer school where kids want to be, and I'm excited. My wife Jessica is one of the coordinators of Camp WSD, and it's a magical time. Even though it's not during the academic year, it's a magical time for our students and our staff, and I believe we'll be receiving an invitation to attend, board, and I hope that we can all go because it is really quite something to behold. So, yep. So, go get them, Camp WSD. Superintendent Lindbergh.
Okay, no report tonight. I just want to thank the board for their work and our discussions. We do make a lot of tough decisions, and I know we all have the best interests of our students and staff in mind, but thank you for your support.
Colleagues, seeing no further business, tonight's meeting is adjourned. Thank you.